Let's talk about baseball for a minute. Can you imagine sitting there watching a game and you look out over the field, all the players are out there, they're catching the ball, throwing the ball, some are hitting the ball, but you notice there's no bases, there's no home plate. So the players are hitting the ball and they're running, but they're just running randomly because there's no place for them to head for, no goal. That's what the goals, that's what the bases are for, so we can see how we're doing. You got to go to first base, then second, then third, and finally you cross the plate and score a run. Well, I realized in my stroke recovery, it's kind of similar. You know, when we're in our therapies, people are helping us, they're telling us what to do, but once we get discharged, we're kind of on our own. There's no one to set goals for us, and there's certainly no one to see how well we're doing to achieve those goals. So we need to do this ourselves. Now, in my stroke recovery, I've tried to learn to set goals. I realize what I can't do, so I set a goal to start doing it better. So I decided in this video to show you a few things that I'm doing for myself, some goals that I'm using to measure how well I'm doing. Now, some of them are kind of silly, but they're all something that I am trying to get better at, trying to gain more use of. For example, my stroke was on my left side. My right arm still works, I can do all kinds of things with it. But my left arm, I have a tendency to just let it hang or not to use it. So one of my goals here is to start using my left hand more. Now, for example, whenever we're talking, you know how we people are, we talk with our hands, we're expressive. Well, instead of just sitting here like this and talking, I'm trying to engage my left hand more so that it can become more natural and I can use it. I don't have a lot of strength there yet, but it's coming. So anyway, I decided to pick 4 things around the house that I do that I couldn't do before, but I set goals for myself and now I can do them. I hope to be able to do them better as I go. So in your stroke recovery, I encourage you to do the same thing. Find things that you can't do, set a goal to start being able to do it. That way we can measure ourselves and we can look back and see we are making progress. It's just the progress is so slow. So anyway, let's have some fun. Watch these. Some are silly, but they are goals. In the early stages of my recovery, I struggled with opening this door with my left hand because I couldn't get my fingers or anything to work. Now, of course, with the right hand, you can just open it like that. So now I can do it. So you see, it's not too hard. But when I first started, one of my goals was because it was hard for me to get my hand in there, and then it was like impossible for me to push that button. So set yourself a goal and just keep working at it until you can get it done. So come on in. My wife and I oftentimes at night will sit and watch TV, and then when it's time to go to bed, we have to turn out the lights and go to bed. So we have this one light that we have to turn out. Now for the first 6 months I didn't even attempt this, but then every night I would stand up and I would try to turn out that light, and it just wasn't going to happen. I couldn't get my left hand up there and turn it. But I can now because that's one of the goals that I set, and it took over a year to get it done. Sometimes it's kind of frustrating with these things because they seem so simple. If I just take my right hand, I can get it up there and turn that light right off, back on. But to be able to do that with my left hand, my first hurdle was getting my hand up there, because not only do I have to get it up there and keep it, but then I have to rotate it and start using my fingers. That's why I think it took a year. But we can achieve our goals if we set them. So now I can get it up there. I can actually feel the twist and turn it and turn the light off, and then we can go to bed. So goals are important. They need to be realistic, but we also have to be very patient with them because we can't accomplish things as fast as we used to. Now you're probably going to think this is kind of silly, but welcome to our bathroom. Again, I've been a year now into my stroke. Well, I can take a shower now, that's not a problem. But My difficulty thing was we always take a shower, we have a floor mat down here to catch the water so we don't drip all over the floor. And then, at least in our house, what we've done is try and take that floor mat and hang it over the shower door. Well, for the last several months, it's been very hard for me to do that. So I'm just going to demonstrate to you two things. The one is how I was doing it, and I've been trying to get to where I can get both of my arms up there and get the towel over the shower door. And I've finally been able to do that. Actually, just a few weeks ago, I've been able to get it to where it doesn't hurt anymore to do it. So anyway, here's one of my goals. Just a regular old floor mat. Now when it first started, I'd get it about like this, and I'd have to go up here, get it draped over the floor mat so that it could dry. Kind of silly, right? But I kept working at it. Finally, I could get it to where I could kind of get it up like that and work it over. Anyway, you get the idea there. Well, one of my goals was to be able to get this up there and over and kind of as close to normal as possible. So this is what I can do now. So yeah, I know it's kind of silly, but if we have a goal and it's reasonable, we can achieve things, but we have to be realistic. It may take a long time. Now this next one you're really going to think is silly, and it may be, but to me it was something I was working to be able to do. It has to do with Ziploc bags. Now I'm sure y'all know what Ziploc bags are. Well, my wife makes these muffins all the time, and we keep them in the refrigerator in a Ziploc bag. And it was my issue here was my left hand having any kind of grip strength. I got to where I could move my arm around it, but to be actually hold something and grip it was very difficult. Well, you have to do that on a Ziploc bag. So now I can actually open the bag, but the problem was zipping them shut, because here's what would happen. I'd have the Ziploc bag there, and I'd try and zip it, but I just couldn't grip that bag to be able to do that. Now sure, I could put it down here and kind of put my arm on it and use my other hand to get the thing closed, but that was kind of like cheating, right? So anyway, now just after lots of time, I can actually take this thing, get it started, and hold it with my left hand and squeeze it, where I can take my right hand across now and actually zip the thing shut. I know it's kind of silly, but it's silly things like that are things that we can continually do because we do them all throughout the day. Find something that you're struggling with, set a goal to get better at doing it.